Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Tuesday, October 27th. I got a new chair over here. Hey, blue wave, no blue wave, blue wave back on, blue wave off. It's getting ridiculous out there, folks, getting crazy out there. All these big Wall Street firms changing their ideas, changing their minds every day, flip-flopping back and forth like these cuckoo headline traders that I always talk about. This is not helping you. This is not helping you. Let me lay it out for you. First of all, you know where I'm coming from. You have to have an understanding of basic conditions. And those conditions are driven mainly by policy. Right now, the policy in effect is that we have record levels of fiscal support, and that is even without an additional stimulus. We have right now record levels of fiscal support. It is actually adding on to what we had in, with the whole COVID stimulus and everything. We're up about 60 billion, a little bit more than 60 billion over last year. All right, we're not even finished with the first month of the fiscal year. That is the main fundamental you have to be concerned with, all right? Everything else is just emotion and headline trading. So you got these Wall Street firms like Goldman, like Bank of America, like Morgan Stanley. One minute they're saying, hey, the blue wave is going to be so bullish. What is the blue wave? Let me just mention what that is. The blue wave is a Biden victory combined with the Democrats taking control of the Senate. In other words, the Democrats having control of both houses of Congress. Now, don't attack me. I've had guys on here, I've had people on here commenting, they're attacking me like, this is my wish. I was a Trump voter in 2016. I'm off the Trump train because he disappointed me, but that does not make me for Biden. All right, I'm not. I think he's not going to. He's not my guy. Anyway, so don't attack me. I'm just saying, hey, this is what Wall Street is doing. Every day, flip-flopping back and forth. There's going to be a blue wave. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be so bullish. Uh-oh, maybe there's not going to be a blue wave. This kind of information is useless information. It is not helping you. Here are the scenarios. And these scenarios have nothing to do, first I'll give you kind of like the emotional scenarios because that's what everyone's being spoon-fed. That's what's being pumped into everybody's heads from these idiots on Wall Street. If you get a blue wave, everyone's going to jump in and buy because they were told that's a great thing. All right, but then we have to sit back and see what actual policy develops from that. That's going to take some time. I told you about that. Trump's still a lame duck president. Biden's got to formulate his policy. He's got to get inaugurated. It's not going to happen until next year after the inauguration at the earliest, all right? But everyone's going to jump in. Everyone's going to jump in, and that's probably a false start because we don't know. So it'll jump in, we're going to get levels of bullish sentiment through the roof, and then it sets up for a market correction. The next scenario is not the blue wave, and now that's being pumped into everybody's head as, oh, that's a bearish scenario. I saw one thing today from Bank of America saying, hey, if we don't get additional stimulus, then we have nothing. Well, you don't have nothing because government spending is still going to continue running at the levels that it is right now. I mean, that was just a stupid comment. All right? So what would happen if you don't get the blue wave? Let's say Biden gets elected and the Senate stays in the hands of Republicans, you're going to get a sharp sell-off. That's a buying opportunity. Why? Because the fiscal support is not going away. All right? It's what it is right now. And that's enough to sustain profits and the market will creep higher. If we get a stimulus, yeah, that's a whole different ballgame. But again, we got to wait to see what they do. They're going to tell us what they're going to do, and then we know how to act. Right now, we know what current conditions are, and they're supportive. And then you have the other scenario that Trump gets reelected, Senate stays in Republican control, maybe Trump gets reelected and the Senate stays in Democratic control. I don't know. I haven't figured that part out yet because I'm just going with, you know, what Wall Street is pumping into everybody's heads. The bottom line is this: fiscal support is going to stay the way it is until it isn't. You know what I'm saying? It's going to stay the way it is until somebody changes policy. Either we get a stimulus, or, like my feeling is, Biden is really a fiscal conservative. I mean, if you go back and look at his record, you know, he's the guy who said, hey, everything is on the table when it comes to, you know, fiscal responsibility. And that means Social Security's on the table in terms of cuts. Medicare's on the table in terms of cuts. Medicaid is on the table. I mean, this guy is a fiscal conservative. And I think I made a video the other day about how, look who he's bringing on his team, or at least who's advising him right now. He's got Larry Summers. He's got Robert Rubin. Robert Rubin was the architect of Clinton's budget surpluses in the late 90s into early 2000s. I mean, we're still recovering now from those budget surpluses. They were a killer for the economy. They drained private savings. Now it's back because of the, you know, massive amounts of deficit spending. So he's got Rahm Emanuel. Rahm Emanuel destroyed the city of Chicago when he became mayor. So Biden's got all these guys who are coming in. They're all fiscal conservatives. They're all fiscal hawks. So everybody, anyone, or, you know, these people thinking there's going to be this big progressive policy shift, I don't know, man. I just don't see his history as one that has supported that kind of, you know, position. I don't see that. So, I mean, you might get a euphoric reaction in the market. If you want to talk about longer term outlook, and this is just speculation because, again, I'm saying we have to wait to see what the policies are. You get this big rally, euphoria, super high levels of bullish sentiment, and then he comes out with policies that are, you know, not stimulative, maybe going into, you know, fiscal responsibility mode, maybe spending cuts. Maybe he says, now we're going to balance the budget. Yeah, that's what we need. You know, then you take the props out from under the economy at that point. But again, we don't know. You have to wait. But right now, you get a pullback, you buy. And I think people are getting primed by these Wall Street idiots for a disappointment, and they're all going to sell. And I'm going to be out there like this with my bushel basket as they all sell right there into my pocket. Cha-ching, ka-ching. So that's it, folks. You have to have this kind of understanding, because otherwise you're flip-flopping back and forth with the headlines, with even these idiots on Wall Street, these big, you know, fancy investment banks. One day it's this, the next day it's this. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. If they're not able to rip people off with their fraud schemes and making markets that are so wide and padded on each side so that they can make a profit, if they were not able to do that, they'd all be out of business, believe me, or taking huge fees. I don't do that. Go to my website. Sign up for a 30-day free trial to MMT Trader. You have to get this information. You have to understand this. I mean, if you want to be ahead of the game, you can stay where you are right now and just, you know, flip-flop on the headlines, throw darts at a dartboard, hope, pray, guess at what you're doing. I mean, it's a free country. If you want to do that, you can do that too. See you tomorrow. Bye.